Hi guys. Okay, so today we're going to talk about rotating objects around a point that is not the origin. So this is just if they give you a point that's not 0, comma 0, we're going to talk about how to rotate the objects around that point. So as you can see, I have up here a little problem, and it says rotate triangle ABC, which you can see I have graphed already right here, 90 degrees counterclockwise about point D. So what we do when we rotate things that are not about the origin is we have to kind of change the numbers and pretend like our point is our origin. So we're going to pretend like this is, because this is what we're rotating around now. So here's our rotation. It's going to be going like this, right? Instead of going like this. So we're going to pretend. So we're going to have some pretend numbers that we're going to have to use. Um, and in order to do that, I'm going to write it over here for you. Let's see. Let me get a nice color. Okay, so first we need to write our points down before we do anything. So point A, I'm going to go ahead and write it over here. Point A is, and if we look over here, we can just figure out the point. A lot of times they're not going to give you the coordinates on some of your tests, so you'll have to figure it out. So point A right here, you can see is 2, comma 0. Point B is 2, comma 3. And point C is 4, comma 0. Okay, so the next thing we have to do is change. Oh, sorry, we need to know what point D is too, right? So point D, that's what we're rotating around. So point D is 2, comma negative 2. Okay, so this is important because we're going to be using this 2, comma negative 2 to find our new numbers, our new coordinates. So what we're going to do is we're going to take, in order to rotate around this point D, we're going to take those coordinates from point D and we're going to subtract them from each of our coordinates up here. That's step one. So step one is we're going to subtract 2, comma negative 2 from each set of points. So I'm going to write it by each set of points right here. Okay, and then this is going to give us our um, temporary A. It's not going to be our A prime yet, right? I'm putting a little star by it because this is our temporary number. That's not a that's not like a true mathematical term, and neither is pretend numbers, but I'm just saying that's to help you remember, okay? So here we're going to subtract to find our um, pretend points here. And I'm just going to put a little star by them because we need to remember that this is not our final answer, right? This is not our A prime. This is just our second step. So we're going to subtract and we're going to come up. So for point A, we'll have 2 minus 2. So our first point would be 0. And then 0 minus negative 2. So you have to remember your positive and negatives. Minus a negative is the same as plus a positive. So 0 minus negative 2 is 2. Then for point B, we're going to say 2 minus 2 is 0. And 3 minus negative 2 is 5. Then for point C, 4 minus 2 is 2. And 0 minus negative 2 is the same as 0 plus 2. So that would be 2. So now we have our points here, our little pretend points that we're going to use. And we're going to use those points and use our rules that we already know. And I have them written up here about rotation around the origin. So if we want to go 90 degrees counterclockwise, we're going to look up here. And of course, you'll have these memorized, right? X comma Y becomes negative Y comma X. So that's the next step. We're just going to take our numbers that we came up with right here. We're going to switch them and we're going to make the Y negative, then we're going to switch them. So for A, when we switch them, we'll get negative 2 comma 0. For B, negative 5 comma 0. And for C, -2, 2. All right, is this our final answer? No, it is not. Because up here, see how we had to subtract all of these? Well, now we're going to have to add those coordinates back. So make sure you don't stop too soon when you're doing this, because if it's multiple choice, they're probably going to give you an answer that's this, because they're like, people might stop right here, and we need to make sure that you know how to go on. So now we're going to just add these points back. We subtracted up there, so we're going to add them back. So I'm going to write them all out first. It's important to stay nice and organized so you can see what you're doing. Okay, and then once we add these out, we will have our new points. And then just to make sure they're correct, we're going to graph them. All right, so let's see what we end up with here. Let me get a new color. Okay, so now we're adding -2 plus 2 is 0. 0 plus -2 is -2. So that's going to be our A prime. -5 plus 2 is -3. 0 minus 2 is -2. So that should be our B prime. -2 plus 2 is 0. 2 plus -2 is also 0. So that should be our C prime. So these down here should be my final answers. So let's go ahead and graph them and see if it makes sense, because we can already kind of visualize. We know it's going to have to be going this way. It's going to have to end up somewhere over here. So let's go ahead and graph it and see if that works. So our first point, A prime, is 0, -2. B prime is -3, -2. Oh, wait, let me erase this one. That one is not at the right spot. Oh, no. Okay, I just accidentally moved my picture. Wait, let me erase this real quick. Hold on. I accidentally moved my picture, and that made the points in the wrong place. So let's go ahead and fix that. We're just going to erase them real quick. Okay, now let's try this again. Okay, so we have 0, -2 should be right here. That would be A prime. Then we have -3, -2 should be right here, B prime. And then we have 0, 0 should be right here for C prime. So now let's go ahead and connect them. And now we have our triangle. And if we look at it, you can see that this triangle, if I rotate it 90 degrees counterclockwise, it looks like it's in the right spot. It looks like it should end up here. If you come up with some kind of triangle or points in a different place and it doesn't look right, then you probably need to start over. So I'm just going to write over here real quick so you remember. So step 1 is you're going to subtract the point that you want to rotate around from the original points. Step 2 is you're going to use your rules to determine your rotation. So I'm just going to write rotation rules. And then step 3 is you're going to add that point back. You're going to add the point that you're rotating around back to your coordinates. So this is just a quicker way to look at it. Step 1, subtract. Step 2, use your rotation rules. And step 3, add the point back. Okay, I hope this helped. And I will do another one about rotation about the origin. And if you don't understand step 2 of this, watch the other video about rotation around the origin, because that's what this step 2 is of this one. Okay, have a good day.